from the class base 1. So derived from the class base 1. So that's why we have to use the keyword extends. And then next so here also I have same variable name x here also I have same variable name x, and then within this method with the derived one have one member method, that method name is called disp. So within that I try to print that super dot x and the x so now super dot x if I just use x within this method, within the derived class method, if I use x that only represents the derived class member data. But from derived class method, I want to access the base class member data. I have to use super dot x. So this super dot x can be the need not to be first statement, but while you call the base class constructor, that time the super should be the first statement. While you call base class constructor by using super, that time that should be the first statement. But here it need not to be the first statement. Here you can first print out x and next also you can print super dot x. So super dot x means it is used to refer the immediate base class data member. Okay, so in main function I have created object for derived class. So by using the derived class object, I am calling the disp method. So control immediately will come to here. Now super dot x means that is base class x. So base class x value is 10. So that will be printed here. 10 will be printed here, and then just x means that is this derived class x. So the derived class x means 15 will be printed. Got it, Amma? So finally the output of this program is 10 and 15. 10 and 15. Now understood, Appa? This one understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then if this derived class does not have x, this derived class does not have x data member, this program will show error. Will this program show error? If derived class does not have x, then this program will show error.
Yes, ma'am.
No. Actually, here I'm trying to access by using a derived class object alone, by using a derived class object only. So then I won't get an error. But if the reference is base class reference, if the reference is base class reference, that time only I have to override. So that time only I will get an error. But now I won't get error. Got it, Amma?
Ma'am, system.out.println x will be error, no,
Yes.
ma'am, in that line.
But wait, I will show you. Sorry, pa. Already I have one. Already have. Here base my programs. Now, okay, so I have not shared the entire screen. Sorry. Wait, I will share the entire screen. Now this screen is visible, apa?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so here I have a declared data member x in base class, and here I have declared a data member 15. So my question is, if I not declared this data member inside the derived one, will this program show error or not? So that is my question. No? So now I save this program. I have saved this program, and then now I will execute this program, compile this program first, Java C derived one, and then next I'm going to now both are showing what super dot x. If I'm printing x, it will print 10. If I'm printing super dot x, it will print the same value 10. This program not showing any error. But if understood, Amma? Understood, Anarpa?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
But if this references base 1 reference, then we will see what will happen. Now, actually, the disp function, even I cannot access the disp function because this disp function is not there in the base 1 layer. So now I will make it here. Here I declared one base function, one disp function void this base disp. Here I have a base disp. In base class also I have one disp function, and derived class also I have one disp function. So now we will see what will happen. So now here, but mm, yesterday, so now it is working. Yesterday, now this program output you understood, apa? This program output you understood. In base class I have one dysfunction, and derived class I have one dysfunction. So now, wait, I will show you that yesterday program, and then you will find out the difference part. Here in this program, can you able to see this program, pa? Can you able to see this program?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So within main function, actually not in the derived class. I'm not in the derived class. I'm not accessing the z. In derived class, if I am accessing the z means, then which z is referred to? The derived class z is referred. If I want to access the base class z means, I want to use a super dot x. But within main function, within main function, one more example. In this within main function, I try to access s dot x, s dot y, but here I don't have x. Sorry, so sorry. In this program also, in this program, I try to. Okay. But here, actually, in base class, I don't have x. In this base class, I don't have x. In derived class, I have an x value. In that program, it is showing error. X equal to 10, y equal to 20. In base class, I don't have z. But in derived class, I have an z. So in main function, when I try to print s dot x, s dot y, s dot z, I will get an error. Understood or not, ma? Are you able to follow me, pa? Are you able to follow me? I will maximize the screen.
Confused, ma'am.
Confused, you don't get confused. Okay, so here I have x, y, and I don't have z here. In derived class, I have an z. Within this derived class, if I have any member function, within that member function, if I try to access z means it is possible. But if this is some other class, in that class, if I try to use s dot x, s dot y, s dot z means, but this is a base class reference, no? By using base class reference, I try to access s dot z means I will get an error because here the z variable was not declared. But here within this member function, now I will modify in this program itself. Here, within this program, within this function itself, if I have a member function, some member function void function, then within that, if I access z means that is possible. Got it? Got it or not, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
If I accessing z within this means, now this z will be accessed by using by s dot function. Can I call s dot function from main function? Can I call s dot fn from main function? What will happen, if I call s dot function?
Error, ma'am.
Error. Why? Because that fn function was not there in the super class. So here, if I if I have a void function, if I have void function, then I can call the, and then I can call s dot function from here. So now it will call which class function means it will call the derived class function. So now I can access this z. So now this z is nothing but which z bar. So this z bar 30 will be printed. But from main function, if I try to access s dot x, s dot y, no problem. But if I try to access the s dot z, I will get an error bar. Not from main function, actually some other class. It is not from derived class. Another class, it is this inheritance example, it is not derived class from that super. So from other class, by using base class object, if I try to access the derived class member without overridden, I will get an error. Understood or not? Still it is confused. Still it is confused,
Understood, ma'am.
Okay, ma. Okay, ma. Thank you, pa. Same way, here I have not declared the x variable, but can I access obj? Here I try to print obj. Now you tell me whether this will work or not, ma. System dot out dot println. Now I am printing obj dot x. Now you tell me whether it will work or not. So I will compile this program. Within, so now, with from main function, I cannot access. Actually, this derived class is derived from base one, and this is main function is even a member function of main function is the member function of derived one. I cannot access because by using object dot it is not possible, but by using simply x na it is possible. Got it, apa? Got it or not, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, va? Oh, okay. I thought this much explanation no need, I thought, because most of them are get confused. But don't worry, if you are not understand this concept, leave it. Okay, what does mean by using object dot? Only you take this by using object dot operator. You want to access the derived class data member by using a base class reference. Yeah? By using object dot operator, by using base class reference. By using object dot operator, you're going to call the derived class data member by using base class reference means that should be overridden. Then only you can access. Otherwise, you cannot access. Without object dot means that is possible. Here within here, if I have any member function within the member function, if I just use z means that is not a problem. But when you are using object dot operator and then object dot operator, and then if you are accessing the derived class member data, but that is not overridden means then you cannot access by using base class reference. Got it, apa? Got it or not? Still, it is confused, apa? Here, yes layer, yes dot. I'm accessing z by using s dot. S is the base class reference layer. S is the base class reference. So when you are accessing the data member by using object dot, but that object is the base class reference means that variable should be overridden. Otherwise, you cannot access. Got it or not, ma? Say yes or no, pa? When you are using object dot, that time only that variable should be overridden. Variable or method that should be overridden. Then only you can access. Got it or not, ma? Say yes or no, pa?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But within any member function, if you are simply use z without object dot, if you are simply using z means that time you won't get any problem. Okay, mama. So that's why. So super dot x means it is used to access the base class data member. Just the x means it is used to access the same class data member. And the super is used to refer only immediate base class. Only used to refer immediate base class. And then next, yesterday itself we have seen this example, how we have to call the base class constructor by using a super keyword. So from main function, in main function, I have a created object for the derived class. So, but that object is stored in the base class reference. So now it will call when object is created, it will call the constructor. So now here object is created for which class? Derived one class. So now it will come to come to derived class constructor only, because this is a parameterized. Here object is created with the parameter, so it will come to parameterized constructor. From parameterized constructor, actually from here it will call the base class a default constructor. But explicitly, I want to call base class one argument constructor means I have to use super keyword. So super str means now it will call the base class one argument constructor. So now this str is nothing but derived object creator. So now in this str, derived object created is printed, and then it will print base constructor. So first one is derived object created base constructor. So after that, control will come to here. So now this str is nothing but derived object created, and then it will print a derived constructor, derived object created, and then derived constructor. Then this from main is created. If the statement was not there, what is the output? If the statement was not there, what is the output?
Base.
Base. Derived
Base
object.
created derived constructor and from main.
Okay, super. Under this super str, no, this should be the first statement in the constructor. You cannot write after the statement. Can you make it the super str after the system.out.println? It is not possible. Always the super constructor call should be first statement. So it should be first statement, and also by using the super keyword, you can only call the immediate base class constructor. Immediate base class constructor. Now, this base class have one parameterized constructor. base class have parameterized constructor, and the derived classes also have a parameterized constructor. So within that, I'm trying to call base class constructor, but the statement is comment. And from main function, I have created object for a derived class. And now what will happen? You tell me this statement was not there in your program. You tell me what will happen when object is created for derived class. What will happen? Control immediately will come to here, na? So from here it will call the base class no argument constructor. But this base class does not have no argument constructor. If this constructor was not there, then compiler will provide one default constructor. If you define any one constructor in your class, then compiler won't provide the default constructor. So now in this class I have defined a constructor with the parameter. So then compiler won't provide the default constructor. But when I create an object for this derived class, control will come to here. From here, it will try to call the base class no argument constructor, but base class no argument constructor was not there. Then your program will show error. Understood, Amma? Got it or not? Say yes or no, Ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Understood? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
But if I have this keyword super str means, that time it will call the base class constructor, and then you will get this output, derived object creator, base constructor, derived object creator, derived constructor from main. So if the statement is there means you will get an output. If the statement was not there, you will get a compile time error, because once if you define any constructor in your class, then compiler won't provide any default constructor. But when I'm creating object, constructor will come to here. So from here it is try to call the default constructor, but there is no default constructor in the program, so this program will show error. Okay. And next, already we know about access control. Public access control can be accessed from anywhere. Yeah? Public access control can be accessed from anywhere. So member can be accessed by any other code. And then least restrictive of all the accessibility. So this is the least restrictive accessibility modifier. Compared to all other modifiers, this is the least restrictive modifier. So accessible from anywhere, both in package containing in its class and in other package where this class is visible. So we can access from anywhere. So private means member can only be accessed by member of its class. And then default. This default is also called package accessibility. Sometimes how we can say public private package protector. So we can say the default is also package modifier. So for a public private package protector also we can say. So this modifier is only sorry, this modifier is only accessible by other class in its own class package. That means all the classes in the same package can access. Even if the class is visible in another package, the member of this is not accessible elsewhere. That means the same package class only can access the data. This is a default data member. Protector means accessible in all the classes in the same package and by all subclasses of it in any package where this class is visible. The same package it is accessible by all the classes. In another package, it is accessible only by the subclasses. Non-subclasses in other package cannot access a protected member from other package. Non-subclass in other package cannot access protected member from other package. So next, abstract class. Have you remember few virtual function in C++ concept? Have you remember few virtual function in C++ concept? Yes or no, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
If any class that contains a few virtual function means that is considered as abstract class layer in C++. We cannot create object for that class. So like here one method, a special method called abstract method. So we can make it any method as the abstract method. So if any class that contains abstract method means then that class become what? Then the class become abstract class. So we cannot create object for that particular class. Then only the class is used for inheritance purpose. Got it, Abba? Got it up? Say yes or no? Here one special method is there, that method is called abstract method. So we can make it any method as the abstract method. If a class that contains any one abstract method, then the class become what? Abstract class. Abstract class means you cannot create an object for that class. Then how will you access the member of those class means only by the derived class object. So this abstract class is only used for inheritance purpose. Got it or not, pa? Say yes or no, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here, abstract method are sometimes referred to as subclass responsibility because they have no implementations specified in the superclass. Pure virtual function have an implementation. Have pure virtual function implementation. In C++.
No, ma'am.
No,
No,
like
ma'am.
that. Yes, here also the abstract method does not have an implementation. Abstract method does not have an implementation. So subclass must override them. So that pure virtual function we should override in the derived class. No, in C++, the pure virtual function should be override in the derived class. Otherwise, what will happen? If I'm not overridden the pure virtual function in derived class, what will happen? Tell me, ma'am. Am I audible? Am I audible or not, pa?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me, pa. In C++, in derived class, if I am not override pure virtual function, what will happen?
Then it will call the function written in base class only, ma'am.
Okay, somewhat correct, but actual definition is not correct, pa. Okay. If I'm not overridden pure virtual function in derived class, what will happen? Then the derived class is also become an abstract class. I cannot create object for the derived class also. If I overridden means, then only I can create object for the derived class. Have you remembered this? Have you remembered this?
No.
No. In base class, if any class that contain pure virtual function means I cannot create object. This one already you are familiar in C++. Yeah? If any class that contain pure virtual function means I cannot create object, the class is considered as abstract class. If I'm not overridden the pure virtual function in the derived class, then what will happen? That pure virtual function is also inherited to the derived class. Yeah? So then I cannot create object for the derived class also. So then how can I access the member of that base class and derived class without creating object? So that's why I need to override the derived class. I need to override the pure virtual function in derived class. Then only what, ma? Tell me, pa. Tell me, ma.
Your voice is breaking, ma'am.
My voice is breaking. Okay. Wait. In C++, if any class that contain pure virtual function means that class is considered as abstract class. If any class is an abstract class, we cannot create object. So without creating object, how can I access the member of that class means by only creating object for derived class, I can access the member of the base class. Because for base class, I cannot create object because it contains virtual function. But in derived class, if I am not overridden the pure virtual function, then what will happen? The derived class is also become a abstract class. So to avoid that, we should override the pure virtual function in derived class. So then only I can create object for the derived class. So by using that object, I can access base class data member and derived class data member. Got it, Appa? Yes or no, pa?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So like here also here abstract method is similar to pure virtual function in your C++. So here also we have to override that abstract method. So subclass must override them. It cannot simply use the version defined in the superclass. If it is not overridden, what will happen? We cannot create object for the subclass also. So abstract method general form is the syntax abstract and then the function return type, name of the function and then parameter list. No method body is present. Pure virtual function does not have a body. No, pure virtual function does not have body. Am I correct or not, pa?
Yes, ma'am.
So like this here, this abstract method does not have a body. So any class that contain one or more abstract method must also be declared abstract. So if any class that contain abstract method, you should declare that class is a abstract. But in C++, we no need to use any special keyword to make it abstract. But here in Java, if any class that contain one or more abstract method, you have to make it that class is the abstract by using the keyword abstract. Got it, Amma? Got it or not, pa?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So there can be no object of an abstract class. That means we cannot create object for abstract class. That is, an abstract class cannot be directly instantiated with the new operator. Also, you cannot declare abstract constructor. Many abstract methods are possible, but abstract constructor and abstract static methods are not possible. Because only that when abstract method is useful, when you are overridden, that time only abstract method is useful. But the constructor and the static methods are all cannot be overridden. Constructor and the static methods are all cannot be overridden. So that's why you cannot declare constructor and the static method as abstract. Because constructor and static method cannot be overridden, hence runtime polymorphism not possible for static method. It will always call the base class method. So any subclass of an abstract class must either implement all of the abstract method in the superclass or be declared abstract itself. So that means in base class I have a 3 abstract method, but in derived class I have only overridden 2 abstract method. Means you should make it that derived class is also abstract, otherwise you will get compile time error. Understood? In base class I have 3 abstract method. In derived class I have override only 2 method. Out of 3 I have override only 2 method, means then the derived class also an abstract method. So you should make it that derived class is abstract. Got it, Appa? Got it, what I'm telling? Say yes or no, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, pa. So here as an example for abstract. So here, pa, this class have only one abstract method, pa. So this class have only one abstract method. So this function does not have body. So similar to your pure virtual function, no? So there, what is the syntax? Void call me equal to 0. But in Java, we are using the keyword abstract. So abstract void call me, and this function does not have function body. So this is an abstract method. So if any class that contain abstract method, one or more abstract method, then you have to make it that class is the abstract class by using the keyword abstract. Otherwise, you will get compile time error. And then that abstract class can have non-abstract method and also abstract method. So this class abstract class can have abstract method and also non-abstract method. So this is the non-abstract method. So here I have a definition. So this is a concrete method. And then now I have derived one class called B, that is derived from the class A. That is the abstract class. A is the abstract class. Now I have overridden this method. If I'm not overridden, then what I have to do? I have to make it this class is also abstract. Otherwise, I will get compile time error. So if this class is abstract, means then I cannot create object for the B class also. Then how can I access the member of the class A and class B? So that's why you should override the abstract method in derived class. Got it? Got it, Anatma? Yes or no, pa?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now here I have a created object for a class B, and then next by using our B class object, I'm calling both methods. Now this will call this method, this function call will call this method, and this will call this function. So first time it will print B's implementation of call me, and next time it will print this is concrete method. Got it, Appa? Say yes or no, ma? Shall I move to next topic, final, pa?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now here, one keyword is there. That keyword is called final, pa. You don't get confused with final and finalize. What is finalize, ma? Have you remembered that finalize?
Yes, ma'am. Destructor.
That is destructor. So you don't get confused with final and finalize. So here, this final is a keyword. If you are make it any method as the final, means you cannot override. You cannot override. If you are make it any method as the final, means then that method cannot be override. Now, can I make it the same method as the abstract and final method? Ma? Is it possible? Can I make it abstract method means always I should override that abstract method. Final means if you make it any method of the final, I cannot override. So I cannot use both keyword on same method. I cannot make it the same method as abstract method, and also I cannot same method as the method can be both abstract and final. A method can be both abstract and final. Got it? So method declared. Tell me, pa.
Is it same as constant? No.
Yeah, if you use a final keyword in data member, that is constant. If you are using final keyword in data member, that is a constant data member. Okay. If you are using final keyword in method, means that method cannot be overridden. If you use the final keyword in class, means that class cannot be inherited.
Okay, ma'am.
So final keyword used in 3 places. If you are use the final keyword in data member, the data member is a constant data member. If you are using final keyword in method, means that method cannot be overridden. If you are using a final keyword in class, means that class cannot be inherited. Okay, so now the method declared as final cannot be overridden. Okay, so the compiler is free to inline calls to them because it knows they will not be overridden by a subclass. However, since final method cannot be overridden, a call to one can be resolved at compile. Here, actually, there is no static binding. There is no static binding. But when I use a final keyword, the static binding, yearly binding is possible. When I use final keyword, yearly binding is possible because this function cannot be overridden. So always we have to call the base class method only by. Have you remembered that runtime polymorphism? By in this one, if R reference have a base class object means it will call the base class member function. If it have a derived class object means we will call the derived class object. But when I make it a final method of the final, it cannot be overridden. So always it will call the base class method. So the binding will happen during compile time itself, yearly binding. Understood, Amma? Understood, Anarpa? Understood, Anarpa? Say yes or no, pa? Not understood, ah?
Explain once, sir.
Okay, ma. Here this call me method, no, this call me method is overridden. This call me method is overridden. Base classes also have call me method and derived classes also have call me method. Here this or is the reference of which class reference means the base class reference, ma. So during runtime only I will come to know this R is going to have which type object, ma. So first this A is nothing but object of base class, pa. So object of base class means during runtime only the link is happened between this function call and this function definition. So now first time it will call the this method, and next this R is going to be have a B. So B is nothing but object of derived class. So this is decided during runtime only. So that time only the link is happened between this function call and this function definition. But ma, if I make it this as final, I cannot override. Ma. I will get an error. So that time always I can write this statement alone. This is only possible. This is not possible. R equal to B is not possible, ma. R equal, even if you are written R equal to B, so this will call the base class call me method only. So during compile time itself, it will make a link between function definition and the function call, pa. Got it? Still it is confused. Now, if I make it this a final means I cannot overridden. Yeah. So if I overridden that time, then only during runtime it is decided which method has to be called. If the method is not overridden, always it is going to call which class method, ma? Base class method only, no? So during compile time itself, it make a link between the function call and function definition, no? Am I correct or not, pa?
Yes, ma'am. Got
Yes,
it,
ma'am.
ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Got it? So that's why by using a final, you can make it yearly binding. So that is here mentioned. So since a final method cannot be overridden, a call to one can be resolved at compile time. This is called a yearly binding because it cannot be overridden. Always it is going to call the base class call me method only. We cannot override, you know. So when it is override, that time only during runtime we have to decide which class method has to be invoked. But here there is no overridden, and then why we need to decide? So during compile time itself, why we need to take a decision? During compile time itself, we can decide it. So function call and function definition link is happen during compile time itself. Got it, Amma?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me, pa.
Ma'am, for example, we're declaring any abstract class. Is it always required that we should declare an abstract method?
Yeah, if any class that contain abstract method, then only you have to declare abstract class. Oh, your question is, if you declared any class as abstract class, that class that class does not have any abstract method, can I make it the class as abstract as possible? Your question is,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Actually, usually we won't do. If any class that contain abstract method, that time only we have to make it a class as abstract. If a class does not have an abstract method, we no need to make it the class. You will get an error, I thought. Wait, I will check it and then I will tell you, ma. Actually, without abstract class, you cannot make it a class as the abstract, ma. Without abstract method, you cannot make it a class as the abstract. Okay, I will write. Now, ma, this class, this is visible to you, Abba? This program?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now this method, this class base one does not have a abstract method, but I try to make it that class is the abstract. So now we will see what will happen. Actually, already some errors are there. No, we remove that. Object that was removed. Yeah.
One square bracket, one curly bracket at the end, ma'am.
Missing. Okay. Yes. Not showing any error. But we will check it whether can we create object for that base class is possible or not. Base 1 obj1 equal to new base 1. But so yes, but we without abstract method we can make it a class of the abstract. But what is the use, what is the use only we have to access all those method by access all the method of that abstract class by using a derived class. But it is possible, but I thought without abstract method, making a class as the abstract is useless one. Am I correct or not? Aditya?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But it is working. But it is working. Without abstract method, you can make it a class of the abstract. But usually, what we have to do means, if you any class that contain abstract method, that time only you have to make it a class of the abstract. Without abstract method, if you are making class of the abstract one, it is useless one. Okay, ma?
No, yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma. Here, the final keyword. Here I have a class. I have created a class called A. So within that I have one final method, final method. So I have created one class called B, which is inherited from class A. And then here I try to override that method method. So then what will happen? I will get an error because I cannot override. This is an illegal one because here in base class this method is the final. So I cannot override. I will get an error. Okay, Mama. What time now? Okay. So like using final to prevent inheritance. I told you, if any class name that is declared as final means I cannot inherit a class B extends A means I will get an error bar. Error cannot a subclass A. Got it, Amma? So declaring a class as final implicitly, declare all of its method as final to Amma. Here it is an important. If you declare a class as final implicitly means that all of its methods are all final too. So as you might expect, it is illegal to declare a class as both abstract and final, since an abstract class is incomplete by itself and relies upon its subclass to provide complete complete implementation. So here, got it up. So if you make it any class as final, all the methods within that class are all final by default. Got it up? Got it or not, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if a class is final means you cannot inherit. If class is declared as final, all the method in the class is by default final. So you cannot make it a class as final as well as you cannot make it a class as abstract. Okay, so either the class can be a final or it can be abstract. It cannot be both abstract as well as final. Got it, Amma? Got it, Anata?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and next one super class is there, ma. This is a built-in class. So this is the super class for all the classes, ma. Even that for user created class, for that user created class also, this object class is the super class, ma. For user created class, user defined class. For user defined class is also the object is the super class, ma. For all the classes, this is the super class. This is a built-in class, ma. Okay, so there is a one special class. So object is the super class of all other class. This means the reference variable of type object can refer to an object of any other class. Got it? And this have some of the methods. So in that we have seen this method finalize, and then we will see the the toString method. We will see the remaining methods and all later. But we have used this method. So this is the member method of which class, ma? That object class. Finalize is the member of which class? Object class. So got it, Appa? Got it or not, ma? Yes or no, pa?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's all inheritance concept. So only we have to use the keyword extends for inheritance. So what is the difference between C++ and Java means we have to use the keyword extends. And then here there is no while we deriving a new class in C++. There is a visibility mode, private visibility mode like that. But here there is no visibility mode. But access specifier concept was there. Access specifier concept was there, but deriving visibility mode that was not there. So only we have to use the keyword extends. And then the remaining concept and all same. We have to use a destructor for deallocation, but here we no need to use any special function for deallocation. In C++ for deallocation we have to use a delete. But here there is no need of explicit deletion. JVM automatically delete the unused memory space. So that time which function is invoked means finalize method is invoked. But in C++, which method is invoked? Destructor is invoked. And then there pure virtual function concept, but here abstract method concept. Then there multiple inheritance is possible. In C++, multiple inheritance is possible, but here multiple inheritance is not possible. But we can achieve multiple inheritance in another concept, that is interface. We will see that later. And then final keyword used in three ways: member data, method, and then inheritance. So if you declare member data as final means that is a constant. Method of the final means you cannot override. Class is the final means you cannot inherit the class. And then object class is the super class of all the classes. That's all. No inheritance. Any other topic I have missed, ma? All the things I have recalled. No, I have recalled or not, ma? Okay, sir, no, pa?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next class we will see the next topic. Otherwise, next class I will this is last year lab program. This is a last year lab program. So tomorrow we will see this lab program, and also you try to. I will give you. So today I will post that program question. All are try to implement that program. Better all are try to implement that program. Next class I will explain that program. Got it? In Google Classroom I will post the question, lab question. All are try to implement the lab program. Next class, I will explain the lab program. Okay, Mama? Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
okay, ma'am. Okay.